Welcome to my top 10 films of 2022. These are the 10 films that captivated me the most and are all films that I would absolutely purchase. I will also be ranking all 92 films that I saw in 2022, so please be sure to go check that out. But let's get right into the top 10. Number 10, the 10th best film of 2022 easily goes to Taiwes Pearl. This Technicolor slasher feels like a wild fever dream with some of the most unnerving sequences of the entire year. I've been excited for this film ever since the end credits of X, and while it delivered a much tamer carnage count compared to X, I still think it is equally terrifying. But Mia Goth is fantastic as Pearl, and I cannot wait for the final conclusion of this trilogy with Maxine. Rolling into 9th place is a Swedish film that I've been waiting for all year long. The Innocence is easily the most shocking film of 2022. The performances are incredible and the cinematography is absolutely breathtaking, and there's one sequence in this film that absolutely broke me, brought me to tears, and it was without a doubt the most shocking sequence I've seen in a film in a very, very long time. I actually recommend this film to almost everybody, but I do recommend you have a backup, feel-good, happy movie to watch afterwards because it does have such dark content. But The Innocence is fantastic and it delivers one of the most memorable movie experiences of my lifetime, and I will never forget it. In 8th place is a film that took me forever to get around to watching, and I'm very glad that I eventually did so because this is Triangle of Sadness, one of the more wild films that I've seen in 2022. Triangle of Sadness is not for everybody. It is a dark comedy that covers social topics more relevant to the upper class, the extremely wealthy, while covering dynamics between a relationship of an influencer couple, as well as the dynamics between different people and their status level when they're put in danger. But once again, Triangle of Sadness is not for everybody, but I still recommend you give it a chance and try and make it through at least half of the film because it is absolutely wild and covers some pretty dark content matter in an overall semi-lightly tone. In 7th place is a film that I did not expect to like as much as I did, and that is Barbarian, directed by Zach Cregger. With this film, I find new elements to enjoy upon every rewatch. The acting is phenomenal, and it constantly keeps you on the edge of your seat. And I also have to say, this is one of the best theater experiences I've had in a very long time, and it honestly will probably be a theater experience that I remember for the rest of my life. Moving right into 6th place, we have Scream. I am an absolute sucker for Ghostface and the Scream franchise. I truly do love this franchise. It is my favorite horror franchise. It's the first horror franchise that I ever completed. Scream 4 was my first midnight premiere screening, as well as the fact that I do also kind of enjoy the Scream TV series. It's not perfect, but it is fun at the least. As you can tell, I love the franchise, and with radio silence attached, I was sold from the very beginning. Scream was one of the more fun theater experiences that I had throughout the year. It was really entertaining, really engaging, and I have to say, I was just overwhelmed with joy of experiencing a new Scream film that I didn't really focus on trying to figure out the killer too much. So I didn't actually get that really spoiled, or I didn't solve it very early on in the film. I'm sure I might have been able to if I really tried. But again, I was just a sucker for Ghostface. I was glad to be in the theaters seeing a new Scream film. So I really did enjoy Scream. And I'm excited to see where Scream 6 takes it with seeing Ghostface in New York. I'm just can't wait. But now diving into the top 5 films of 2022, these top 5 films absolutely blew me away, and I would say these top 5 films came out of nowhere. All of these films, really, I didn't expect what I got out of them, and they all 5 managed to be my top favorite films of the year. Coming in 5th place, we have The Banshees of Inisherin. The newest Martin McDonagh film to reconnect Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson took turns that I had no idea were coming. I'm a huge fan of In Bruges, so I was absolutely sold on this film. I didn't even watch the trailer. I just knew Martin McDonagh, Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson, I was in. I had no idea that this film was set during the Irish Civil War, let alone the ride that this film was actually going to take me on. This is without a doubt Colin Farrell's best performance in years. I absolutely love this film and can't wait to purchase it. And lastly, for Banshees of Inisherin, I have to say that the score is fantastic. It really surprised me. It's just super enjoyable, and it would easily be my favorite score of 2022 if it weren't for Nope. Speaking of, coming in 4th place, we do have Nope, Jordan Peele's newest film. The third film from Jordan Peele is probably my most anticipated film of 2022. I've been excited for it ever since we got that first teaser, the cast announcement, everything. I've been absolutely sold on this movie from the very get-go, and it was absolutely worth it in my opinion. I truly had no idea I would love this film the way that I do, and I didn't expect it to combine two of the films that have moved me the most in my lifetime with Jaws and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Those are two phenomenal films that I just absolutely love, and Nope totally brings the adventurous tone from both of those films alive in 2022, and I absolutely appreciate it. The score is phenomenal. Like I said, Banshees of Inisherin would have had the best score of 2022 if it weren't for the score from Nope. I thought this score was absolutely beautiful, it was eerie, and it was just overall seriously engaging. This really is Jaws for the sky, and the characters are phenomenal, and I think this delivered the most tense sequence of 2022 when OJ enters the barn and sees the fake aliens. Honestly, that sequence alone, those aliens, the way that they looked, the costumes, that could have been the look of what these creatures were, and I would have been happy with it because they were pretty damn creepy. Nope is amazing, and it is my favorite Jordan Peele film at the moment, just slightly above Get Out. And moving into the top 3 films of 2022, coming in third place, we have Brian and Charles. This UK comedy film truly came out of nowhere for me, and I feel like nobody's heard about it, and if they have heard about it, they haven't given it a chance. Brian and Charles is the funniest film of the year, and it is the only comedy film in I don't know how long that has kept me consistently crying from laughter throughout its entire runtime. The film is quick and snappy, the comedy is truly out of this world in my personal opinion, I absolutely loved it, and overall it delivers so much heart and charm that it's hard not to love. Brian and Charles absolutely deserves the number 3 spot on this list, and it might very well be my favorite comedy in possibly the last 10 years. And in second place, the runner-up for my favorite film of the year. This film is phenomenal, but just didn't quite make my best film of the year. That is Steven Spielberg's The Fablemans. I was actually quite hesitant going into seeing The Fablemans, but knowing Spielberg, knowing that obviously I love Jaws, I love Close Encounters, I love so much of what he's done that I absolutely had to give this film a shot. But The Fablemans is absolutely every film student's inspirational wet dream. This film has one of the best casts of the year with Seth Rogen, Michelle Williams, and Paul Dano coming off the back of The Batman with 2 completely different roles, but I absolutely love this film and the cast is fantastic. I cannot explain how truly exhilarating this film was for me. It really is one of the most entertaining films I've seen in a long time, and just really, again, like I said, it's every film student's inspirational wet dream. It encouraged me. It just made me feel good about wanting to go into the film industry. But this film delivered one of the best experiences of the year, and I have to say it is one of my favorite Spielberg films ever made. Here we are at the number 1 spot, my favorite film of 2022. I knew this film would not be beat ever since I stepped out of the theaters earlier this year. Here we have Taiwes X. This is the first Taiwes film that I had seen since his involvement on VHS 2012, and wow, it was phenomenal. I love X. Obviously you saw Pearl is the number 10 film on this list, but X just absolutely exceeded all of my expectations. I did not expect this film to go the way that it went. I didn't expect to love this film as much as I do. The cast is phenomenal. Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, Brittany Snow, and of course Scott Mescudi, aka Kid Cudi. They're all fantastic, so I was sold just on the cast alone going into it. X gave me one of the most compelling and terrifying villains in Pearl, while also delivering one of the best final girls of all time in Maxine. But this film subverted all of my expectations. The kills are gnarly, the acting is phenomenal, the twists are really great and clever, it's emotional, and overall it is the only modern horror film that has brought me to tears. Those are my top 10 favorite films of 2022. Please be sure to let me know your favorites down in the comments below, as well as checking out my live stream ranking all 92 films that I saw in the year 2022. Thanks again for watching. I'm Carter Scotland Allen, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.